Alright, for today's video, we're actually going to be riding here. I know it looks ghetto, but that's because it is. It's called the Ghetto Spot, I think, or Ghetto Park. It's really basic, but I kind of want to go into some of the ways I look at these maps creatively, and what better place than a really simple map like this. So let's get into it. Alright, I just checked the name. It is Ghetto Spot. Obviously, me with a British accent. Ghetto, ghetto, ghetto. Pronunciation and all that stuff. Yeah, it's like a super basic map, but I really liked this map for whatever reason. I think just the simplicity of it all kind of appealed to me. It's like, what do you do with a map with so little on it? I kind of like the challenge. Like, just because a map has everything on it doesn't necessarily mean it's great. And if you have the mindset that unless it has tons of stuff on it you can't play it, or it's boring, then you kind of miss out on the creative side of playing this stuff. Yeah, I did an edit on, I think it was this map and another one put together, and I really enjoyed it for whatever reason. And I'll probably go into the reason why I like it first. I want to hit that wall. I can't remember how this works. We're still alive, I think. Yeah, we made it. We did a bonk. I survived. Okay, it's about getting the right speed. It's like the only wall in the map. I guess you can do a little thing like how high can you get up and wall ride that thing without bailing. Yeah. It's like the first thing, I guess, is like little challenges like that. Obviously, you could look at it and just think, well, it's just a boring wall. It's like, how high could you reach the tip of that thing? Do a trick and land it? I don't know, setting up challenges and trying to look at objects in different ways is one good way of getting the most out of a map. Because then just literally one object, you get a million ideas. The other thing, I can't remember if I did like a stall on this before. Let's give it a go. You can like ride onto it, as long as you're doing like the double trigger method. Yeah, obviously it looks a bit janky, but it's better than nothing. Well, we did an over, and I didn't actually plan on doing an overground there. Bit too high to bonk. Yeah. So yeah, the thing I kind of wanted to talk about was, obviously, like, let's take this setup here, this little object. Obviously it looks like nothing, but just a useful way of looking at these objects is to split into directions. Like, obviously I'm coming at this from this angle. We've got that little thing, and then the wall behind it is quite heavily sloped. So you can use, obviously, this object as well. It's got like the top surface, there's the slope going up, and there's also the down. So you can break it down to parts like that, basically. Like, do a trick on top of it, like which I did before, like a little manual. Do something on the wall, and then maybe use like the sloped part to go up and over. Obviously, because it's very small, that's quite difficult, but like seeing it as a mini ramp or something. Obviously I'm not doing a great job explaining that, and I've started to try and explain what I'm doing, but This is just from one direction. Obviously, this is kind of like a part of the map which isn't necessarily easy to ride. Even then, you can turn it into something that's rideable. Make the most of the properties of whatever you're doing. Yeah, like there, I use the flat surface on top, both sides. And that's just from that one angle. If you think of it in different ways, like going up, hang on. You could use this as a way to launch to that as well. And then down the slope on the opposite side, like that. Different combinations of that will give you a million different lines. If you get bored, take it to, say, this angle. Here, why not gap from here to the wall like that? I'm not doing a very good job of that. This is probably like a pretty hard example, to be honest. It's not the most easily rideable thing. But yeah, gaps from there to the wall, then back to do a little manual on this thing. You can use the object as is, just like a little pad to manual on. Go from this side. Are you hopping? Yeah. Hop from this slope down to the opposite. Actually overshot it, but would you just nose over the whole thing? Nah. Gap to the sofa. Ooh. Okay, let's get a bit more space. Okay, we can't walk anymore, as usual. Can probably gap to that. I've never even actually tried going to that thing before. Give it a there you go. I was gonna give up, but sometimes perseverance pays off. So yeah, that's from that angle. Okay, that's probably a bit optimistic. Looking at it from this side, obviously you can do a similar thing again. This bump makes it a little hard. I don't know, there's something satisfying about that little bank. Gap that as well. It's just like chances, opportunities everywhere to do like cool little stuff. Nice to bonk that thing. What else do we have from this angle? I guess you could go from the wall to that as well. Yeah, that might be a bit difficult. And sometimes that's okay. Like, you can keep trying to get something, and sometimes it just doesn't work. That's fine as well. Better to have tried and realised it wasn't that good. Like, now I'm just trying to adapt. Go up this thing. Hit that like that. Get a bonk on that. Nope. Yeah, that kind of covers all the angles, but you can maybe see what I mean about this one little object. Obviously I've just spent however many minutes it is. Now, I presumably won't have edited this. It's just like a straight playthrough. Like, you get a bit of fun out of that one little object, which for the most part, something that looks like this, most people would just kind of ignore it because, like, really, what is it? Doesn't look like anything. Yeah, that's generally like how I look at everything. I do that with each object, kind of like systematically, I guess. I want to bonk this, but it's going to be like a hard balance of speed and getting the back tyre to. I found another gap there. Like, ride this. What could we do? Maybe better on this side. Kind of a gap. You can manual it as well, actually. as you can see, like, just possibilities are endless. You don't need the best crazy maps in the world. This applies to like people on console as well. Just take a single object and try and get as much like tricks out of it as possible. In that sense, like all the maps, all the base maps are way more advanced than this. So you'll have an easier time doing it. I've picked like a really hard map to try and show this off. And if I can do this on a really hard map, you can do it anywhere, to be honest. Right. I'm not going to do this for too long, obviously. It's not going to be like the most super crazy video. Let's take this thing, for example. Looking at it from the side. Get like a bunch of cool stuff like that you can do. Same from the side as well. I really like those sort of 360 tire tap type things on these kind of objects. Obviously the magnets can get in the way sometimes. I also need to remember to give this map proper credit. I don't know who made it. It was quite an old map, but whoa. You see, that's another thing. You get like happy accidents like that, which you didn't expect. Things which, if you'd never been playing around, you never would have found. There is value in just screwing around, even if it doesn't give you what you intended. You may end up with something better. Go really slow. The other thing with like these kind of objects is just going up and down. Ah, the double peg didn't work. It's a bit small, so it's probably kind of a lot to ask, but yeah. Yeah, those sort of tricks as well, they're pretty hard to pull off. But overshot it. Yeah, like let your creativity figure it out. Because once you get that mindset, it doesn't really matter what the map is. You'd be surprised just how many ideas come about from screwing around. You don't have to look at stuff like systematically like I do either. Just cruising around, you figure stuff out. So, do on this thing. Alright. One last thing is this rail that goes around this part of the park. I actually turned this into a bit of a challenge when I made an edit. You can, if you figure it out, ride all of these. You have to manually control everything. Actually, yeah. Before, when I tried this, it took me forever to get it. So I may actually take that. I was going to talk about it a bit more, but this last part is a nightmare to get right. Like, seeing stuff like this, which probably you typically wouldn't assume to be possible, but making challenges out of them, you'd be surprised how many times these will actually work if you put the effort in. By doing that, you kind of come up with something that nobody else does, because who else would spend time trying to ride all of these? I think when I did an edit, I actually like tricked off it, or like manualed the whole thing. But yeah, I got it there. I think I'd be happy with that, to be honest. So that's a bit of a nightmare thing, but something I wanted to show that I spent a bit of time on doing this map. And on that note, I think I'll leave this video there. I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the thought process I have, because usually I just sort of ride around, do stuff, move on. But yeah, even a map that's this simple, this basic, you can get plenty out of it. Okay, we will keep going until I bail. This map, I don't know, I'm not going to say anything actually, because who knows what's going to happen. It was a bit risky. Yeah, there's something about it. Maybe nobody else will get this, but just how simple it is brings out like a creative desire in me to figure stuff out and just make the most of it. Again, I will link to it so you can figure it out for yourself. Shit. Yeah, I've one more little go, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think. Like, maybe try the map for yourself. See if you can come up with anything weird. Because all these rails around the outside, I'm not sure if the like lower rails are grindable. You could try and figure out a way to do stuff on those as well, which would be pretty cool and would be something unique to this map. Yeah, we didn't get that. I don't know. Sometimes simple is best. Obviously I've been doing all these super fancy maps. And obviously I really like riding those fancy maps, but I'll leave it there, I think. Yeah, sometimes having something like this is just kind of clears your mind a little bit. It's kind of been a recent trick that I like playing around with, going from like a cross arm position. It's when you do a, I'm not sure which direction it will be, when you do a whip out of it, it turns into a pretty nice looking decade. That's also something I would recommend you try. Yes, this is the ghetto spot. I'll link to the map. I'll also link to the bike, because this is a house bike design. It's downloadable. Yeah, I really like this black and gold design. The other white and red one that I used recently as well. It's also done by the same person. If you go to the Evolution Discord, you can get all that stuff. And yeah, back with probably a more fancy map next time, but still, kind of wanted to do one on this for a while. Now we're in the middle of nowhere. Well, now we're in the void, I guess I can call it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.